Hello everyone! Today we're going to be jumping into Timeless with a deck that I enjoy playing very much. This is an Enchantress style deck. When I started playing Magic, I started with a deck very similar to this, and the goal here is going to be to protect ourselves over the course of the game, make it really hard for our opponents to kill us, and then keep getting more and more value dealing with their permanents and their game plan until we can eventually close out the game with one of our larger threats. So I've gone ahead and separated this deck into a couple of piles. Let's talk through them. First pile here we have is Ramp. That's Utopia Sprawl and Sanctum Weaver. Sanctum Weaver is going to get really strong real quick, being able to add a ton of mana for us since we're running a bunch of enchantments. Then this next pile here is our pile for disrupting our opponent's game plan. So here we have Ossification. This is great removal, gonna attach to a basic, and that's gonna be great for us. We also have Leyline Binding for that instant speed option. And then 2 copies of Blood Moon. Now that's the only red card in the deck and might seem like a little bit of a weird inclusion, but trust me, our deck can handle it. There is a little bit of a non-synergy between Leyline Binding and Blood Moon, but that's okay, because we're only going to be casting Blood Moon if it's more advantageous than having those cheap Leyline Bindings. But we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into decision making and when I start playing these matches. Now, our next pile is card draw. We've got Sithis here, Enchantress's Presence, and Setessan Champion. Now, a lot of people would advocate for more copies of Enchantress's Presence, and I do think that's a good idea, but I like Setessan Champion more. This really hedges against us drawing too many cards off of multiple stacked Enchantress's Presences. Setessan Champion can be removed by us or our opponent, but it's also a really strong blocker, and as we continue to cast enchantments, it is going to get bigger, so it will in itself become another threat. Again, this is a personal choice of mine. You can make a different choice in your deck, but this is what I've gone with. And then our last pile here is Protection. Destiny Spinner stops our enchantments from being countered, which is really powerful. We can also close out the game with her other ability, turning a land into an XX Elemental with Trample, where X is the number of enchantments we control. Sterling Grove gives all of our other enchantments Shroud, which is going to be really powerful, but we can sacrifice this and search our library for an enchantment card and reveal it and put it on top of our library. So this is also a tutor, lots of utility there. Everybody knows about this wonderful combo here with Phyrexian Unlife and Solemnity, but if you do not, basically Phyrexian Unlife stops us from losing the game for having 0 life, and once we do hit 0 or less, so once our life total goes negative, we start taking damage in the form of poison counters. Poison counters, notably, cannot be given to us if we can't get counters. So that's why we have that combo here. And then last, we have Leyline of Sanctity. This is great in our opening hand since it synergizes really well with Sanctum Weaver having extra enchantments on the battlefield. It synergizes well with Destiny Spinner as well. And it protects us from a lot of the burn spells that we'll see, a lot of Thoughtseize type effects, and things like that. Now let's just talk a little bit about the mana base, because it is a little wonky since we have to accommodate for both Leyline Binding and Blood Moon, right? Decision making is going to be really important in this deck. We do have Ketria Triome and Inditha Triome in this deck. Both of those are going to give us all the colors we need for Domain to make Leyline Binding nice and cheap, and we might play towards that in the early game. If not, we're going to have a pretty strong focus on getting at least a basic forest onto the battlefield, because we do want to be able to enchant a forest with Utopia Sprawl. Yeah, we could talk a little bit more about those decision-making choices based on what our opponent's playing, but basically we're going to try and get the mana base that's best for our opponent based on those early turns. Now, if you do want to copy this deck list is down in the description, and if you have been enjoying my videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my latest posts, and if you do like this video, make sure you give it a like. Let's go ahead and see how this deck does. And here we go. Opponent's going first, and we've got double Blood Moon, but a Leyline. It's not going to be worth it with the lack of lands for us. This is going to be much better. Let's go ahead, keep 6, bottom our redundant Phyrexian Unlife. We have the combo here, and go ahead, throw Leyline of Sanctity onto the battlefield. This is going to protect us from the turn 1 Thoughtseize, and that's good enough. Alright, so here we are on the play. This isn't bad, so I think we'll go ahead and keep. We're going to play towards the double Leyline Binding, just past the turn with the Heath for now. We are going to have Forest Plains off Windswept Heath. Let's see what our opponent gets out. We can probably go Sterling Grove next. Unless we see a land with access to blue. Nope. Alright, so yeah. We'll go ahead and grab a Triome here. We'll grab Ketria. Okay, so let's shock this in. Utopia Sprawl on the Ketria Triome. We'll pick white. Green-white gets Sterling Grove. All of this is looking pretty good. We got our Leyline bindings. We have Sterling Grove for protection as well, so we can start playing out some more enchantments without really being fearful. If we need to, we can sack Sterling Grove to find Phyrexian Unlife and protect us. And our opponent's not playing like they have a Blood Moon, so I'm not too concerned. Lily, sure. Discard. I actually think we get rid of the Destiny Spinner. And gonna go Leyline Binding to get rid of Lily. And then just hold on to our other Leyline Binding for now. Okay, they do have the Swamp. Maybe they play a Blood Moon? Nope, just another Lily. Alright, we're gonna get rid of Solemnity. I think it's gonna be fine with our card draw. We're just gonna get rid of this other Liliana.
Fine. I know when I'm not, you won't be outsmarting me.
They'll have to discard a card as well. I'm kind of okay top decking from where we're at. Yep, take the one. Sure. Utopia Sprawl. Let's see. I mean, we'll just throw it on the same Triome. We'll pick white again. We're just playing this out to keep stacking enchantments. Okay, not bad. Okay, Leyline Binding for Kalitas. That's not terrible. Wait and see if our opponent has something else, like a Shieldred would be much worse for us. I'm honestly tempted to just take the 3 here. And I think I will. Again, save the binding for something we care a little bit more about. Tarmogoyf, see, okay, that's a good choice. See if they play out their last card as well. Nope. Alright. I'll play it now. We get rid of Tarmogoyf. Just too big right now. Moving on. Leyline of Sanctity. Drop this down. Yep, they use the bolt. Gonna tap that for a black, deal 2 more damage. They can deal 5 damage just off their board right now. We are gonna want to sack the Sterling Grove on our opponent's end step. Make sure that we hedge against the loss of life here. Okay, they both swing, and that's fine. Down to 3. So let's go ahead and activate this, search. We're gonna grab Phyrexian Unlife. It's gonna protect us against the next turn. And this is gonna buy us a lot more time as well. So we'll just play this out. Pass back. We're gonna go into the negative for the first time this turn. There is a slightly more efficient way for our opponents to do this. Sure, Bowmaster. King Kalidas, that's fine. So now we just need to find Solemnity, and we've got the game. Okay, that was the wrong way to do it. It would have been better if they held back Deathrite Shaman. Shieldred, sure. Yep, lose 2 life. Stomping Ground. I think we just hold this back like we have some sort of interaction. Alright. And they just go ahead and wait there. We're gonna go Ossification. Ossification hits Shieldred. Because I certainly don't want to deal with that anymore. I don't think they understand what the Phyrexian Unlife does. Just because it's stopping the Shieldred triggers. They're not swinging, but they would be giving me poison counters here. I think we pass. Blood Crypt, sure. Yeah, we're about to blank a bunch of their lands and all of their access to green mana. So that'll be fun.
I'm the best fire starter there is.
Probably gonna exile the top card of their library, try and get some additional value. I do definitely need to draw something good here. Yep, top card. It's a land. I'll take 2 damage. Get 2 poison counters. We find Solemnity. So now we won't be getting those poison counters anymore, and then let's Blood Moon just to blank most of their lands. And we've got it! Alright, opponent going first, but I like the way our hand looks, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep. We'll start with Leyline of Sanctity. That should be good to dissuade burn decks and black decks with Thoughtseize. Then we might start Wooded Foothills. Try and get ourselves a land that'll tap for more colors. We could also play out our Forest if we get a Utopia Sprawl. So definitely a lot of good options here. Alright, so yep, we're gonna go ahead and keep. Throw that down onto the battlefield, give ourselves Hexproof. And we're off to a strong start. Castle Garenbrig. Alright, we're gonna start with the Ketria Triome. Arboreal Grazer. Sure. I think we go Forest Sanctum Weaver. We're playing up against a Field of the Dead deck, so it's going to be pretty simple for us here. Our early turns are going to be where we want to capitalize on value, and Blood Moon is going to be really strong. So definitely going to try and use Leyline Binding early if we can. I don't think they're going to have removal, so I'm more than happy to throw out the Sanctum Weaver first. Then that's going to set us up for a stronger next turn. Generous Ent Forest Cycling, taking a look. That is going to give them the basic land. If they want it. They're thinking real hard about their forest. Alright, they went ahead and got the gate there. Let's go Forest Sanctum Weaver. This puts us in a pretty good spot. Next turn, we'll probably Fierce Empath, sure. That's fine. I think we're gonna try and get Sterling Grove down. We could also go Sithis and then Sterling Grove. Or we could do it in the opposite order. It doesn't really matter, so I think we go Sterling Grove first. Let's go ahead and get a green-white land. We drop the Grove. And then we'll drop Sithis. This gives us a little bit of extra mana as well, if we do want to remove something, but I think we're fine. Once Upon a Time looks for a land. Sunken Citadel, sure. Enters tap, so no Titan this turn. Yep, alright, we keep our Leyline, and that's fine. Let's go Setessan Champion. Wooded Foothills. No attacks, we'll end the turn. Hold up Leyline Binding for Primeval Titan. Yep, exiles their own graveyard, that's fine. There's the Titan. Flash and Leyline Binding. ETB. You're gonna draw another card. So I can see us getting a decent amount of life and drawing a good amount of cards very quickly. Opponent's gonna have a choice to make regarding the 2 lands that they grab. Another field, yep. There we go. Best choice. We can use Boseiju to get rid of one of the fields. That's not terrible. But I think we're just gonna hold out for a little bit more. Yep. Alright, activate here. We'll grab our other Triumph. Alright, well, let's start with Utopia Sprawl. We're gonna tap this for a green. Pick white. This way we can Blood Moon without really being impacted. White. Okay. Let's play out our champion here. Sure. That's fine. Now we'll go Ossification. Attach that to our forest. This is just to draw some extra cards. We'll get rid of the Fierce Empath. Okay, Destiny Spinner, draw some more cards, gain some more life. Let's see, we have a Plains, we can play out our Heath here. That's not bad. Gonna go ahead and grab, let's see, a green land. This will give us Utopia Sprawl. We'll throw that over here. White. And we find our Blood Moon, but can't cast it just yet. No attacks. We have ample blockers. We have to discard 2 cards. We're gonna go Stomping Ground and Enchantress's Presence, because we have plenty of card draw. Gonna hang on to another Sithis, just in case. Next turn we drop Blood Moon, and that's gonna put us in a really strong spot. Primeval Titan, sure. Again, we'll set up the lock really soon. I think Blood Moon has our opponents out of the game. I do want to protect Blood Moon, though, with Shroud. So that will be important. Radiant Fountain, yep. More zombies. They can't really attack this turn, because we do have a very strong board. Fortunately for us, with Sanctum Weaver, we're going to have a lot of really strong options. Alright, well, let's go ahead and start tapping for some mana. So we pick our red mana here. We're going to tap this for a green, this for a green, and we will Blood Moon. Should blank a lot of our opponent's options, and we've got it. Alright everyone, so this game is pretty good at disrupting your opponent and stopping yourself from losing. As we were able to see, Leyline of Sanctity can single-handedly lock your opponent out of a lot of their game plan, just with targeting you and all of that, and Blood Moon similarly can close out the game if your opponent's not expecting it. With Phyrexian Unlife and Solemnity, we have the potential to get either 1 extra turn, 2 extra turns, or maybe just as many turns as we need to stabilize and eventually win the game. So all of this is very strong in conjunction with each other. You know, maybe there is a case for making a deck that's focused almost entirely on stopping your opponent's game plan. We could do something like Leyline, Blood Moon, Ashiok, and a couple of those other cards. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that. But this deck in of itself is very powerful. I love the Enchantress style, and I think that this is a fun way to play it in the format. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you have any ideas for another deck that you'd like to see me play, why don't you let me know in a comment down below. I'll see you all next time.